Welcome to my channel, Rainbow Love. My first big gay love story. First love story part 1, Long My First Love part 1. I was 15. Young and awkward and secretly gay. Secretly, as most gay people my age were. I had been in a group home for a while. A large group home that was a bunch of houses on a bunch of land that housed a range of kids, younger kids to older teenagers, 8 of us to each house. Each house was specific to a gender, houses for boy and houses for girls. I hated it. The place was, unfortunately, a Christian establishment, so I was used to hearing the message that being gay was wrong. And the fact that I had to be around a bunch of hormonal macho straight teenage guys didn't make matters better. Hearing the constant whips about fags and how gross they were wasn't good. I felt alone. I was gay and black. And everyone around me was straight and white. Though I was friends with everyone, I felt like an outcast. Alone. Depressed even. Suicidal actually. One day, on a very sunny day, I had been walking home from the school bus stop. Bored and upset that I had to be back at a place that hated me for being gay even if they didn't know I was, and I saw him. A boy and his brother, running up to the house that I stayed in. I had never seen the boy before, he was new, I would come to find out. He was older, by a year or so. Taller and skinny, white with long blonde hair. It didn't stay long for long after his arrival, and really blue eyes. And like most of the guys that came there, really country. Camo and steel-toed boots. And a camo hat that the guys had a habit of attaching a fishing hook to. He was in every sense, unattractive. I hated him, just like I secretly hated everyone else, walking about comfortably in their skin. I entered the house, and the house mother introduced me and the other boys to him. John was his name. James was his brother. Like the Bible. They all hit it off with each other, the new boys and the other boys. Going outside to play foot-licking. I hated sports. I was good at them, great actually. But I hated them. So I watched TV and thought nothing else of the boy. Not speaking to him unless to make a sarcastic remark about his conversations or statements. He was 17, no different from the other southern 17-year-old boys, and talked only about girls and trucks and hunting. None of which interested me. One day, our house mother wanted to teach the older boys about leadership and appointed John and another house brother to leaders of the house while she went off to relax. I hated it. I was more mature, more intelligent, and they were dip-spitting hillbillies. I went against everything they said, and while the other guy found it funny, John was completely upset with it. I could see that it upset him, so I continued. And the more I did, the angrier he got. Until he wasn't angry and his frown was a smile. Something changed, and he looked at me differently. As if we were best friends. Every time he looked at me I could feel his blue eyes looking at my soul. And our banner seemed to change from angry and standoffish, to us laughing and joking. Playfully arguing back and forth. That night I went to my room, and as he passed by he playfully called me a beach. And so I walked through the bathroom to his door, the bathrooms connected our rooms, and returned the insult. John pulled off his pants and shirt and grins at my reaction. What, I sleep in my boxers? He had said. Why are you standing in the doorway? Come in here. And so nervously I did. We talked and joked and wrestled and something led to another, and I gave him a job. I went to his room many more nights, doing the same thing. I didn't go because I wanted to do anything sexual, but because the guy that had been so unattractive before now seemed to be the most beautiful person I had ever seen. I couldn't stop thinking about him. One night I went into his room and he simply ignored me. I begged him to talk to me, but he didn't. So I left. I came out days later, being greeted to my surprise, with love and acceptance by my peers. John hated that I found liberation and began bullying me, terrible remarks to everything I said. It hurt, because though I did everything I could to get over him, I still wanted to be with him. Even though in the nights that we had been together, he never seemed to actually want me. My first love part 2. The next couple of days were heck. The more I tried to steer clear of John, the meaner he got. A part of me actually believed he hated me, but I couldn't understand why. He was the one who ignored me. One day we were sitting in the living room, all 8 of the boys that lived in the home. I was talking to another guy, my roommate, a new guy who was pretty interesting. A relief from the normal rednecks. I talked to him a lot. We were talking and laughing, and as we were, I was interrupted as John made a sarcastic insult to something I said. I don't know why I got so angry, but I did, and I yelled at him. And we began to argue, and he hurled insults and I hurled insults. We argued for at least 30 minutes until someone finally got us to calm down. That night, me and my roommate Thomas were talking in the dark, a street light letting off a glow through the window. John entered the room, He wanted to talk to Thomas. They talked for a little bit, until Thomas suggested we played Truth or Dare. Reluctantly, I agreed. We went back and forth, though I refused to talk to John. That is, until Thomas dared John to kiss me. I could feel John's eyes on me, and I hated it. John got up from Thomas's bed and came and sat down next to me. He placed his jaw over my mouth and kissed his jaw. Thomas laughed and said he cheated, but moved on to something else, looking away. John removed his jaw, placing it behind my head and pulled me in, kissing me. Throat and long, soft and warm. It was the first time we had ever kissed. Ever. And I felt every single bad thought toward him fade away. I felt the room fall away. And as soon as it started, it was done, Thomas none the wiser. We all talked that night, John never letting go of my job. I fell asleep in his arms. My first love part 3. A little descriptive it was, in every way, like a bomb. An explosion inside of me. For the first time, I was in love. Irrevocably so.